Okay, so this is the 2016 paper, and we'll start with question one. Here we know the diagram shows a kidney and its associated vessels from a healthy individual, which row correctly identifies the vessels along with the concentration of urea they contain. Okay, so we know that the lowest concentration of urea will be in the veins, which is carrying the blood away from the kidneys. All right, and the vein will be the thicker one. So this is the vena cava. One is the vena cava. Highest concentration of urea will be in the ureter. So it has to be one of these two. And now we need to know which one is the renal vein. So 3 is the renal vein. Therefore, the correct option is D. Right? Question 2. Element X has the electronic structure 283. Which of the following statements about this element are correct? The element is in group 12, period 3 of the periodic table. That is wrong because it will belong to group 3 or group 13, which is determined by the number of valence electrons. The element reacts with oxygen to form a compound with the formula X2O3. This is correct. The element reacts with bromine to form a compound with the formula XBr3, yes, because the number of valence electrons is 3. The atomic number of the element is 13, that is correct, because atomic number is equal to number of electrons. The element is an alkali metal. That is wrong. Alkali metals have one single valence electron. So the correct answers are 2, 3, and 4, which is option F. Question 3. A student carries out an experiment to determine the density of the material from which two identical solid objects are made. She uses a balance and a measuring cylinder containing a fixed volume of liquid. The diagram shows different stages of her experiment, with some of the readings on the balance and some on the measuring cylinder. Which calculation should be used to determine the density of the material from which the objects are made? All right. So we know that the mass of a single block will be 470 grams minus 170 grams, that's 300 grams. But we do not know the volume of a single cube. We do know the volume of two cubes, and they are identical to each other. As they've said, identical solid objects are made here. So the volume of two of these objects will be 350 minus 250 centimeter cube, that is 100. So the volume of a single one will be 50. Therefore, to calculate the density of the material, we do 300 grams divided by 50 centimeter cube, which is option D. Question 4. A straight line passes through the points P minus 3, 3 and Q 6, 9. Which one of the following is an equation of a straight line which is parallel to PQ? All right, so we need to calculate the gradient of the line that passes through PQ. And when two lines are parallel to each other, their gradients are the same. Therefore, the gradient will be 9 minus 3 divided by 6 minus 3, which is going to be 6 over 9. That is 2 by 3. So we need to look for an equation that is in the form of y is equal to 2 by 3x plus or minus any other number. Okay, and the only option out of all of these options that is like that is option A. So the correct option is option A. Here it is written in the form y is equal to mx plus c, where m is the gradient, that is 2 by 3. Question 5. The diagram shows some of the stages of how a length of DNA can be removed from one organism and introduced into another organism. Which row is correct? All right. So W is a chromosome. It's not a gene. This black shaded part is the gene. It is cut out by X, which is going to be a restriction enzyme, because restriction enzymes are the ones that are used to cut a section of DNA. Y is again a restriction enzyme, because again you're cutting a section of the DNA, and you can only insert DNA using a ligase. So the correct sequence is chromosome, restriction enzyme, ligase. That is option B. Which one of the following could not be separated using the technique given? Mixture: calcium carbonate and water through evaporation, that is possible. Pentane and octane, they are both organic solvents, and they can be distilled. They can be separated using fractional distillation. Silicon dioxide and water, silicon crystals will get filtered out on the filter paper when the solution is passed through it. So filtration, this is correct. Sodium chloride and water through distillation, that's right. Ethanol and water are miscible liquids, and they will not separate using a separating funnel. You only use a separating funnel when you want to separate immiscible liquids. So the correct option is E. Question 7.